Leia leads a brave resistance that will only account for 5 minutes of screen time for a legendary character. Long after you've either finished reading that shit or dismissed it altogether, it's still scrolling by. Dark shadow of an evil ship gives the finger to an audience hoping not to see a remake of A New Hope. Also, if a Star Destroyer's shadow is this large and looming, then it's either super close to this galaxy's sun, or else this is a tiny-ass planet. Or you're just having fun with visuals and don't really care about scale. BB-8 is an obvious attempt to sell toys. Where can I buy one? Here, this is how you close your hand.
Without the Jedi, there can be no balance in the Force.
Funny, since I once heard that Anakin was prophesied to bring balance to the Force, and he weren't no Jedi. Well, not long-term anyway. Look, I realize you don't want to get shot at, but how is taking control of a ship cannon instead of taking off a good idea here? Thankfully for the plot, those two overachiever stormtroopers who shot at him actually damaged his ship enough to keep him from taking off. I guess they missed the memo about how they're supposed to be horrible at aiming.
You take this. It's safer with you than it is with me.
I learned about this from the historical documents. Leia did it 38 years ago, so it should work for us. Also, why is it safer with a dumbass droid than a savvy pro-pilot human being? Couldn't you literally bury it in the sand and it'd be safer than with either one of you assholes? Here, let me mark you so people can tell you're the conflicted stormtrooper. Oh yeah, and before I die, there is another Skywalker.
The map to Skywalker. We know you found it.
Wait a minute, the guy who vanished left behind a map? Like, a physical f***ing map that any asshole could stumble upon and find you with? What this movie should have said at the beginning was Luke Skywalker has set everyone on a scavenger hunt. It's like a mad world in space. I have to take 2 sins off here for Kylo Ren stopping the blaster shot in midair, something we've never seen anyone in a Star Wars movie do.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Hilarious 2015 style line makes its way into not hilarious scene from a galaxy long ago and far, far away. That guy shot at me and definitely was given the map by the old dude. Let's take him prisoner for later and ignore him for now, even though the map could literally be 5 feet away. Brilliant! Kylo Ren senses the Finn stormtrooper's rebellious thoughts, then does nothing, because he knows Finn is important to the plot later, I guess. While I think it's cool that Kylo Ren stopped this blaster bolt in midair, was he really dedicating some of his dark power to keep it in midair the whole time? That one explosion must mean Poe died. I wish they never programmed depression inside of me. And Poe appears to be the only prisoner they took from the planet. I guess because Kylo was so sure he knew about the map. But then, so did Max von Sydow's character, and Kylo just wasted that guy's ass on the planet's surface, so what gives? Finn Trooper walks in here, and there is no one on the left side, but as soon as he removes his helmet, boom! Sudden Captain Phasma. In its quest to be unique and Star Warsian, movie unfortunately rips off Oblivion. Discount Tatooine. Why does she park her speeder all the way out here by itself, especially when she has to f***ing drag all this heavy shit a long distance after parking?
What you brought me today is worth 1/4 portion.
GameStop. Rey doesn't know about the 5-count diagonal slash method of line counting. I mean, how are you supposed to count this shit at a glance? This thing probably died because it was trying to walk in a desert. Luckily, BB-8 is found by someone who is profoundly important to the story.
No one has been able to get out of you what you did with the map.
Why waste time with human torture if your resident Sith pupil can just mind extract the information out of the subject? Why not just start with this?
It's in a droid, a BB unit.
Let's leave this prisoner I got that information from alive for now, just in case we all forget that information I just force grabbed from his brain. Definitely don't kill this dude, okay? Got it?
Follow the girl and get that droid.
Damn, dude, you clearly had other customers behind Rey when she left. I mean, after you gave that order, what the f*** else do you have to do?
Ren wants the prisoner.
I know it's hard to believe, but you should totally trust me. He sent the recently disgraced stormtrooper to do that job following 0 protocols. Why in the f***ing f*** is there a tether on this TIE fighter?
All right, we gotta take out as many of these cannons as we can, or we're not gonna get very far.
Hey, why not just fly perpendicular to the ship? Like, away and shit. Eventually the cannons will be out of range to hit you, right? Do you have to attack them? Or could you maybe just dodge their fire for a few seconds and f***ing leave?
I'm Poe Dameron.
Can we get to the introductions after you're out of danger?
FN-2187 reported to my division, was evaluated and sent to reconditioning.
But obviously not, because he was simply allowed to wander freely about the ship. Somehow upon crash landing, Finn and Poe end up super far away from each other, which is sort of crucial to the plot, but not very logical. Good thing Poe left his jacket behind for no reason, so that Finn could pick it up and be seen by BB-8 later. Is the desert eating this ship? Why didn't it do that to all the other wrecked ships on the planet?
Him.
Instead of just calling out to Finn and maybe trying to talk to him normally, Rey goes into full attack mode immediately because BB-8 thinks he sees Poe's apparently one-of-a-kind brown jacket.
What's your hurry, thief?
Rey apparently works for the Ferguson Police Department.
Luke Skywalker. I thought he was a myth.
But why? Wouldn't he be in all the history books and news and f***ing what? They survived this. Why are the TIE fighters just blowing up everything on the planet? And wouldn't they have strict orders not to do that, since the whole point of this is to get a stupid map that they could easily destroy by doing this
That much garbage! The garbage will do!
How can the bad guys be close enough to obliterate this one ship and surely notice them running for the Falcon, but not obliterate the Falcon before they can fire it up and take off? Also, Millennium Falcon just happens to be on Jakku for some reason.
You ever fly this thing?
No! This ship hasn't flown in years.
Apparently, every ship in the universe is easy to access, requiring no keys or combinations of any kind, and are ready to fly on a moment's notice. That should be the end of the journey right there.
Nice job.
I'm getting pretty good at this.
That's great, kid. Don't get cocky. Once and removed for awesomeness. And after that, there were no more bad guys. Even though the Star Destroyer with Kylo Ren and red-headed Hitler was presumably just orbiting this planet and In fact, here's a Star Destroyer just chilling out near Jakku, who did not see Finn and Rey escape the planet in the Falcon. Just FYI.
We were unable to acquire the droid on Jakku.
Okay, so this leads to an entertaining scene where Kylo goes ballistic with his Satan Saber and wrecks a bunch of computers. But my question is, all you need is a droid with a map inside it. Why didn't you go down there and get it? Why are you that much of a stickler about letting minions do the work when this map is so important? You could have taken it easily.
The two were accompanied by a girl.
Excessive use of the Force.
Get us there as fast as you can.
I'll drop you to...
Okay, goddammit, I'm gonna remove 3 cents for this. Yay, it's Han Solo and Chewbacca! One question though, why the f*** are they flying around in this system at this very moment in time? They just happened to find their old ship like it was gifted to them. And yeah, they were looking for a signal, but they still got here right when Rey and Finn got into space.
Stay there until I say so. Don't even think about taking the Falcon.
What about BB-8?
Stays with me until I get rid of the gang.
But why? Wouldn't it be safer for BB-8 to stay hidden? Movie earns an extra 10 sins for the colossal waste of talent in hiring the 2 guys from the Raid 2, only to have them say a few lines and get eaten by the spaghetti monster and promptly waste them.
That BB unit, First Order is looking for one just like it.
Well, damn. Han's great plan to have BB-8 with him for reasons unexplained just backfired.
I got a bad feeling about this.
What? You heard those monsters screaming at a distance? Of course you got a bad feeling about this. This is not the kind of strange, odd, bad feeling that classic Star Wars characters have when they go into the unknown. This is a prequel-like bad feeling where the danger is right in front of them. These Rathtars have been gobbling up people left and right, but when it comes to Finn, it's all about stocking the fridge. Well, how does Rey know that this control board will... How did she know that button would close the...
Watch the thrust. We're going out of here at light speed.
But why? Can't you just fly out of here and then do that? And since when do you get so cavalier about light speed?
The droid we seek is aboard the Millennium Falcon, in the hands of your father, Han Solo.
In case you forgot what your father's name was.
We shall see.
By the way, is this the rented space where Thanos and Sinestro conduct all their space conspiracy business? It's at this point you had a nagging feeling in the back of your mind that this whole movie was simply repurposing everything from A New Hope, and you haven't even gotten to the new Death Star yet. This is why you don't bring a highly wanted droid in to discount Mos Eisley. Why does nobody ever think about this shit? Maybe we should have seen this in Return of the Jedi, but Luke decided to bring that Darth Vader mask with him when he escaped the second Death Star, but why? To symbolically burn it in the Ewok bonfire later? The Death Star was going to blow it up anyway, and way better than that fire could. But now Kylo Ren has it, meaning some enterprising Ewok sold that on eBay to Darth Benjamin 1983 since we last saw it.
Like all of them, I was taken from a family I'll never know. But my first battle, I made a choice.
That was his first battle? He's like 30. How f***ing long do stormtroopers train? At what age was he taken? Jesus, this truthful confession only brings up more questions. Also, they sent a rookie stormtrooper to help find Luke's map. Key to Rey's past just happens to be in this remote and random bar. And basically some lightsaber memory voices draw Rey into the cantina basement. Basically. Is this an alarm system? Here at Force Awakens, we handle all your security needs by giving thieves scary glimpses of the past and future that will have everyone arguing about what it means for years. Your thief will be too confused to steal.
That lightsaber was Luke's, and his father's before him.
Huh? You mean the one that he was holding when Vader cut his hand off in Cloud City? You mean someone found that and now it's here? Artifacts from the original trilogy are more easily found than pop-up ads on a porn site.
Today is the end of the Republic.
Because we have finally built a planet moon-sized death machine that cannot be defeated. 3rd time's a charm.
As the last day of the Republic!
If you didn't get the Hitler parallel already, here's some stuff to smack your face with. Also, how does energy this intense coming from this very technological terror they've constructed not, at the very least, melt their faces off like Raiders of the Lost Ark? And what's the point of this anyway? They blow up 5 planets, none of which we know anything about. And for what? At least when the Empire blew up Alderaan, we knew it was Leia's home planet. Why not just go ahead and blow up several other planets while you're at it and just end this thing? You don't even need to find Luke anymore. So the First Order is coming down to find Luke's map. But how did this plan coincide with their Megadeth Star plans? Why didn't they threaten the 5 planets first? And if they didn't get the map, then they'd cause mass genocide. The First Order might actually be dumber than the Empire.
Where'd you get that?
A good question. For another time.
Well, that's a tidy screenwriter's trick to get out of explaining shit. Hey everybody, let's just mindlessly fire into the building where the map might be. We're giving out wings.
I need a weapon!
You have one!
After all, any Joe Schmo can handle a lightsaber.
I like this thing.
Cute moment, but that's the first time ever that Han has fired Chewie's bowcaster. Seriously?
Raider!
So he has this badass staff thing that can deflect lightsabers and but he still threw down his gun so he could get into a mano-a-mano sword fight, which is some bullshit.
Forget the droid. We have what we need.
Because Rey definitely memorized that entire map she was shown for 10 seconds earlier and was told was incomplete anyway. So the Resistance swarmed all over this place, but they never once decided to destroy this ship or Kylo's. Yeah, better be sure to kill random stormtroopers running around and not their means of escape. Rey! Goddamn C-3PO. So Leia should be pretty one with the Force by now, right? She's had a good 30 years, and they made such a big deal about it in the original trilogy that if anything happened to Luke, her untapped Force magic could save the universe. But appears she's the same old Leia. Still awesome, but not a Jedi.
And even worse, it matches no charted system on record.
I don't know how there's a map of this place, unless Luke spent all this time charting it, then found his way back to civilization, then decided to vanish. The movie so far makes us believe that Luke got upset that Kylo turned to the dark side, and in shame, he vanished. But somehow he left 2 pieces of a map of an uncharted place just before flying away. Why is BB-8 curious about what's under this blanket? Is it so there's yet another crowd-pleasing reveal of R2-D2?
R2-D2 has been in low power mode ever since Master Luke went away.
A metaphor for the entire Star Wars series, actually. If you're a fan of girls, then this moment pulled you straight out of the movie. Adam Driver is a good and appealing actor, but once you do something as unique as his character on that show, the thought of him being a Sith Lord is hilarious.
He's carrying a section of a navigational chart, and we have the rest. Recovered from the archives of the Empire.
So that means the isn't uncharted, as that lying liar C-3PO said just a minute ago?
Then the Resistance must be destroyed before they get to Skywalker.
Why didn't you just destroy them already? You clearly have the power to do it. Why is their ability or non-ability to find Luke so important to that decision? Just do it already.
If what you say about this girl is true, bring her to me.
Why didn't Kylo drag her here in the first place? And if you suspect she has that kind of power, she's probably already convinced Stormtrooper Daniel Craig to set her free.
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open.
Rey, realizing she might have Jedi powers and attempting to use them on the fly, is one of the best things about this movie, and I'm not even shy about giving a sin off. Kylo's walk back to Rey's cell is the longest walk concocted since Lord of the Rings.
Yes, sir. Weapon charging.
It will only take approximately all the minutes to charge. Welcome to the J.J. Abrams Roadshow. Can you guess how many actors in this scene were once in well-regarded J.J. Abrams TV shows? The clock starts now.
It's another Death Star.
I wish that were the case, Major.
You see, because this new weapon is way larger than the already huge Death Star, it's completely different.
Some kind of thermal oscillator. There is one. Precinct 47.
Okay, Finn spent time on the Starkiller base as a stormtrooper, but how does he know that shit?
Some things never change.
True. They still drive me crazy.
Star Wars General Hospital.
We're making our landing approach at light speed.
Finn would be amazing at CinemaSins. From the sheer momentum alone, the Falcon should be toast at this point, and it's going to crash through all sorts of shit before it comes to a stop. I mean, we're not talking about a ship merely going fast. It was going faster than the speed of motherfucking light. Time for Hollywood's expert rendition of paper football. Touchdown! Super important Starkiller base. You'd think they'd have surveillance cameras basically everywhere, but they do not. Wait, is there going to be enough room in this compartment when that big metal thing goes back into it?
Lower the shields.
And now here's the scene where the supposed badass Captain Phasma, Lord of the Stormtroopers, lets down the shields like an asshole, instead of standing up to Finn, dying, and winning the day for the First Order in the process. This whole base is looking for Rey and can't find her. These two dicks just happen to luck out and find her at this very moment in the movie. And they go from seeing her across the way to right in her path without so much as a wrong turn.
And their weapon will be fully charged in 10 minutes. It would take a miracle to save us now.
C-3PO somehow never saw Star Wars. Every dramatic Star Wars finale needs to be set in a giant whatchamacallit, complete with Han Solo Death Bridge, with narrow walkways and heights that would kill a Sherpa just by looking at them. Ben! Yep, Ben was named after Obi-Wan, the guy neither Leia nor Han had a real relationship with. Anyone that doesn't know at this point that Han is dead just doesn't know movies, and it makes me wish the film did more to hide this reveal. It's not Star Wars if someone doesn't fall 1,000 stories. Leia can sense when Han has been killed halfway across the galaxy, but still no idea where her living Jedi brother is without a f***ing map. Do I have that right? Chewie scores a hit against Kylo, and then suddenly the stormtroopers are alerted to his presence, as if the 2 very loud Chewbacca growls during Han's death didn't do that in the first place. Also, Chewie stops firing at Kylo Ren because stormtroopers start shooting at him. Chewbacca's been through a lot of shit. He knows how well they aim. He could have shot Kylo at least 10 more times before engaging with them. Speaking of which, so could Rey and Finn, but they just stand there.
Admiral, their weapon will fire in 2 minutes.
More like 10, but it sounds super urgent, doesn't it?
Traitor!
Why is this supposed to be an insult? It's not like Finn made friends in the First Order, and it's some huge betrayal.
Come get it!
Kylo does not have to engage with Finn in a lightsaber duel. He can just throw him with a little Force magic, but he gets in a lightsaber duel anyway. I realize it's possible Finn is a Force user and doesn't know it. In fact, I'd say it's positive, since otherwise someone as powerful as Kylo's been shown to be should finish Finn off in about 3 seconds flat. Did you see what he did to Rey? And she is a Force user. Well, damn, that shit's just awesome right there. We will remove 3 sins for this badassery. Oh yeah, better cut back to the copy-paste space battle for a second so everyone remembers that's going on right now too.
Weapon fully charged in 30 seconds.
Nope. Sure is good of the planet to wait to explode so they can have this fight. Rey strikes Kylo in the face with a lightsaber and it does not kill him. And oh, a perfect rift just formed between them so that sequels can happen. Thank the Force, Rey and Finn were both on the same side of the sudden gorge that appeared. Tonight, the role of Lord of the Rings Eagles will be played by Chewbacca. Massive planet explodes, but as long as you show the ships flying away from it, there's no way that big explosion can catch up to them. Right now, Rey is thinking, how do I tell this woman I stood and gaped as her husband was betrayed and killed by a guy we all should have realized was evil? Or she's thinking, this is a really long hug with a stranger. R2 suddenly wakes up because time to end this thing with one last emotional whammy. R2-D2, meet a better you. BB-8, meet the previous holder of the cutest Star Wars droid title. I still don't understand this map. Like, do you actually need to follow the path Luke draws out in orange on this thing? Wouldn't a simple dot that says I am here suffice? And leaving R2 with everything except one missing piece? Were you worried someone was going to hack into him? Having found her long-lost brother she's been searching for years, Leia sends the strange girl she just met and Chewbacca. Why isn't she going herself? Also, where the f*** is Lando? Man, they destroyed the Starkiller base and found Luke Skywalker all in one day. That's like probably the best day the Resistance will ever have. Do you think Luke was maybe a passenger on Oceanic Flight 815? Jeez, this is an awful lot of staring and silence for this moment. I guess Luke is stunned that someone solved his deviously plotted map. Foiled again! And honestly, I'd rather have the movie end with Rey flying off to look for Luke, as opposed to this final scene of her finding him and him looking old and tired. This entire final scene is fan service, plain and simple, and it makes no sense for the actual story. The story, as presented, ends more naturally on the mystery of not knowing if Rey even finds Luke. But whatever, you sold your toys, so who gives a shit, right? Reading.
This is where we snuff out the Resistance once and for all.
How do all the makeup people keep forgetting to put on his twirlable mustache?
Incinerate their base, destroy their transports, and obliterate their fleet.
Why not just say kill everything?
Resistance ship approaching. Guns and shields in attack mode.
But despite the fact that we're here to destroy all rebel scum here today, we will talk to the pilot of this puny ship, because it will be an amusing situation. Also, the First Order gets distracted by this one pilot, and decides not to go ahead and blow away the rebel base, because inside every Empire First Order bad guy is a capacity for love.
We gotta take out that last cannon or our bombers are toast!
Seriously, one f***ing cannon is gonna be the difference here? These guys barely hit anybody when they have all the cannons.
Work your magic!
BB-8's magic quickly devolves into an electric version of the boy plugging the wall from that one ancient fable I've forgotten the name of.
Disengage now, Commander. That is an order.
Rabble, rabble, you taught your dress. Rabble, rabble, face is a mess. This Marty McFly maneuver somehow works.
Bring the bombs!
Resistance bombers approaching.
But why? Is every member of this rebel fleet a Poe Dameron ignoring General Leia's orders? This battle sure does go to awfully fast. Like, so fast they should never even have attempted it. I mean, it ultimately ends with one bomber left to drop bombs. They knew there would be fighters. They acted earlier like Poe taking out the cannons would make this easy. Instead, it's more lopsided than Super Bowl 24. This swarming force of First Order pilots were able to knock out these 3 bomber ships without much problem. But now that there's one left, they suddenly get preoccupied with something off screen that prevents them from ending this. This remote falls completely past her before she even moves her arm. But because this scene is in slow-mo, this real-life action must also be slow-mo, as she's able to catch it well beyond the point of no return. There's no gravity in hold on. I know I've screwed this up before, so let's try this again. There is no force that would cause these bombs to simply fall straight down onto the Dreadnought like how gravity works on Earth. As we see this once proud Dreadnought explode in a cascade of flames, I'm wondering, why are all the other First Order ships useless here? They could fly after the Rebel fleet too, right? Why did they put all their eggs in the Dread basket?
They can't get away, Supreme Leader. We have them tied on the end of a string.
Why wouldn't Snoke know that already, though? Wait. You mean Luke didn't just stare at Rey and the lightsaber for 25 minutes like he did at the end of The Force Awakens? She took a tiny step backwards after handing it to him, but it must have been a forced step, because now she's a dozen feet away. This moment completely undermines the ending of The Force Awakens, and does so for a throwaway joke. Yes, Luke has given up on the Force at this point, but you don't need this gag to sell it. He can hand it back to her solemnly and accomplish the same thing story-wise, but you wanted to subvert audience expectations. A disease that infects this entire film, actually. Discount Ewoks.
Go away!
Look, if you want Luke to be disillusioned and have turned away from the Force, fine. But Rey just told him his goddamn sister center, and they need his help. He's not even gonna ask about the details? Just, wait, man, I have angst over here.
You think that I came to the most unfindable place in the galaxy for no reason at all?
No, but I do wonder why you left a f***ing map to this unfindable place if you didn't want to be found. Booby balls. Unpasteurized Thalas siren milk. But was there any reason he needed to pole vault to the other side of the lagoon? The bottom pointy end of that stick is in the same place when he's on the original cliff as it is after he's vaulted. He just lifts it slightly and slams it down onto a fish. There's no reason he couldn't have done that at the start and skipped the Jedi decathlon.
Leia sent me here with hope.
But not Empire or Jedi? Jeez. Just imagine going on a trip with only A New Hope and Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
There were heroes on that mission.
A slap, a supposed demotion, and a couple verbal burns. I honestly think Leia is being way too easy on Poe here. He literally caused the death of like half the fleet.
They found us.
That's impossible.
This comes seconds after Leia showed off her fancy homing beacon Apple Watch. Seconds. Also, this should be the biggest duh moment for Poe here, right? They are obviously tracking you, even if the tracking through lightspeed thing is supposed to be impossible.
Can we jump to lightspeed?
We have enough fuel resources for just one jump.
Fuel? Is this the first mention of the concept of fuel in Star Wars? I sure don't remember Han in the original trilogy ever having to worry about fuel, certainly not for jumps to lightspeed. And Rey just took the Falcon supposedly halfway around the universe looking for Luke. But this ship only has enough fuel for one more jump? Jesus. Because Snoke's ship and Evil Fleet all come out of hyperspace here instead of over there, this entire movie is allowed to take place. Ships in this universe only have 2 speeds, faster than f***ing light and impulse power. Unnecessary spinning. Yes, only Poe and BB-8 survived that hangar explosion. What a lucky narrative break. This explosion doesn't kill Leia, nor does getting sucked out into space.
What is the point of all this if we can't blow up 3 tiny cruisers?
Hux would be excellent at CinemaSins.
They're faster and lighter, sir. They can't lose us, but they can keep at a range where our cannons are ineffective against their shields.
F***ing infuriating writing right here. Suddenly, and for the first time in all of Star Wars, ships struggle to catch up to other ships, depend on fuel, have limited jumps to lightspeed, have impulse speed based in part on their weight, all so we can have some kind of near but far ballet of characters.
They won't last long burning fuel like this.
God damn it, I have pinpointed the moment I gave up on modern Star Wars movies, and it was the fuel. It was the f***ing fuel. It takes until The Last Jedi for these movies to actually show Leia doing something with the Force other than telepathic communication. Also, I truly don't care if you want to introduce new Force powers, but a little explanation goes a long way. Especially when said new power is literal space resurrection. Isn't she unkillable now? Where's the danger? Or does she only have enough fuel for one space resurrection? It's cute when the Porgs give Chewie grief as he's about to eat their friend, but where were these assholes back when Chewie was killing their friend? Or plucking their friend?
That's Admiral Holdo? Battle of Chiron Belt, Admiral Holdo?
Dude, how do you not know what such a famous person looks like? Star Wars is weird. It's like a long time ago in a galaxy far away. But they have super advanced space travel and weapons technology, yet no one's invented the photograph.
Captain, Commander, you can call me whatever you like. I just want to know what's going on.
Of course you do.
So begins the completely unnecessary and runtime bloating, let's not tell Poe what's going on so Finn and Rose can go on a side quest that adds an extra 30 minutes to this movie plot point.
What are you doing here?
Hello everyone, meet Rose. Rose is an escape pod guard. It's as if you can't just lock up the escape pod bay and require high-level access keycards to get in. Also, she's the last line of defense here. She's lucky a whole bunch of deserters don't come down here, overpower her, and just launch multiple escape pods off the ship. Holy she stunned him without even giving him 1 second to explain, after just fangirling over him. She has no chill.
We destroy her and disable the tracker without them realizing.
They won't realize it's off for 1 system cycle. About 6 minutes.
What? What's a system cycle? So you can turn off a main bridge Class A system, but no one notices until the computer does, what, a sweep of the ship for any changes to processes? And the ship is so huge it takes 6 minutes? F***ing hell. This movie knows where it wants all its characters to be at certain times, but gives zero shits about how and why they get there. Wait, they're having the secret Against Orders mission debrief in General Leia's hospital room? The f***? Hey, I know a spot where no one will pay us any mind. Follow me.
If I must be the sole voice of reason, Admiral Holdo will never agree to this plan.
I hate you.
Could I do it? Of course I could do it, but I can't do it.
Yeah, sure. I make this easy, right? Real life doesn't have easy answers, but a nice simple plan using Maz is exactly what this movie needed. And instead, the plot will divert to a whole other planet and make this movie just as long as Transformers: The Last Night.
He's a master codebreaker, an ace pilot, a poet with a blaster.
Jesus, lady, neither you nor they have the time for this kind of flowery, adjective-filled exposition.
You'll find him rolling at a high-stakes table in the casino on Canto Bight.
He plays there 24 hours a day. They let him bang chicks and sleep right there. Believe me, there is never a time that guy isn't at that table. Also, what's his game? Can you at least tell them what game he likes to play at this high-stakes table?
You're not doing this. The effort would kill you.
Foreshadowing? Sorry, that pun was pretty forced. Oh, I can't even force myself to stop! Holy did we just stumble into the Dark Crystal?
I was cleaning my blaster, it went off.
This is exactly the excuse I would tell my ex-girlfriend whenever she caught me masturbating.
Who were those things?
Caretakers. Island natives. They've kept up the Jedi structure since they were built.
Do they live forever? Are there male caretakers here, or do they reproduce with spores? Also, this kind of sounds like slavery. Like a powerful dude getting his inherited cleaned and fixed by the rag-clothed natives of whatever place his ancestors decided to build their religious temple? No one will be seated during the climb up Kung Fu Panda mountain staircase.
You went straight to the dark.
Yeah, but you made your exile camp on top of a Jedi temple that was built on top of the dark, so...
Fleet's only got 18 hours of fuel left. We gotta hurry.
How is there even enough fuel for your little hyperspace journey to Space Vegas? He went from not eating these things to allowing them to tear up the bridge of the Falcon in about an hour.
You called me a monster.
You are a monster.
Seriously, the most compelling this movie gets is these strange force time calls between Rey and Kylo. But instead of exploring that further, it's just being used as a reason to let them fight together for one scene later and then be enemies again. What? You're telling me that the Force can teleport matter now?
I told those two, I said, this is a public beach. You can't park that shuttle here.
These motherfuckers honestly couldn't find one place to park their shuttle that wouldn't cause trouble for them later. Also, keep in mind that right after they parked way down here on this beach, they had to run to this casino, which is miles away. I understand these rich dicks wouldn't allow them to park it right there at the casino, but there had to be a better plan than this.
Maz said this master codebreaker would have a red plum bloom on his lapel.
Because she knew he would never change his jacket or shirt. Gotta tell ya, these discount horse things just took me right out of the movie. Right out of the universe of Star Wars. They are so out of place here, I'm expecting to see the USS Enterprise. Also, they're trying to find this master code breaker, a guy they need to find fast, and risk parking their ship on a public beach to find. But sure, we have time for a lesson about how terrible this town is.
I wish I could put my fist through this whole lousy, beautiful town.
And film it, and upload it to Pornhub. BB Hate, did you guys not shoot any coverage? Why did you just give me that close-up of her staff mere centimeters from the rock, only to cut straight to a wide shot of her and her staff several feet away from the rock? Movie continues to go out of its way to make these caretakers' lives miserable.
Their medical frigate is out of fuel, and its shields are down.
Gotta ask, since we just saw Finn and Rose flying through hyperspace a minute ago in this cruiser, can the rebels not take fuel from all the smaller ships and hook up the medical frigate with it? Or is this some Star Wars thing that only Star Wars people know, where everything uses different kinds of fuel?
Unless you got a thief in your pocket, our plan is shot.
I can direct.
Finn and Rose just happen to get thrown into the cell where the Collector is, and yeah, he knows how to do this shit that they need done. Why not? I mean, after all, Maz told us only one person in the universe could do it, so stumbling on another person shouldn't be too hard. It's amazing how far this movie went to make a throwaway joke. This guy with this talent has just been sitting here, biding his time until the right rescuer came along. There's a f***ing sewer grate in the middle of the prison walkway. That's right, folks. Not a jail set up with regular plumbing or anything, but an actual goddamn escape sewer. Also, could these assholes not be bothered to replace the grate on either side of their escape route? Maybe make it somewhat hard to find out where you went?
Stop enjoying this! Stop enjoying this!
Oh, Finn, I am decidedly not enjoying this. So these giant horse goat things just run head first through walls? I guess they know they'll be able to bust through and won't slam into steel or concrete. Good for them.
Our ship's on the beach! Straight ahead!
Does he think she's controlling this f***ing thing? Wait, is the movie saying she is controlling it? Heroes nearly fall off a cliff and slide right to the edge of their deaths cliche. How the f*** did DJ get a ship and find them? This motherfucker is a luck dragon. Tell Falcor I said hello.
I didn't need a left!
I guess Disney is on a quest to cast Benicio del Toro in as many of their franchises as possible in roles that seem more important at first than they really are.
Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be.
And that, my friends, was the mantra recited during the writing of this script in direct relation to the Star Wars franchise. You gotta admire the balls on this movie. I almost want to remove Sins for it being so ballsy, but you know how we do.
Let me see them. My parents. Please.
Rian Johnson, Star Wars troll. You can now roll the footage from A Few Good Men here.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
I thought I'd find answers here.
So did I. But hey, at least you found some mirrors.
If I go to him, Ben Solo will turn.
She seems super sure about this after spending basically the entire movie whining about how she doesn't know anything about the Force and what's going on inside. Yoda? And Ghost Yoda waited a long motherfucking time to make another appearance. Also, Yoda looks like an actor who actually died in real life and then they found archive footage to put him into this movie. If Ghost Jedi can do this, then they should have been a lot more helpful in the last two trilogies.
But that library contained nothing that the girl Rey does not already possess.
Grammatically, this is a clever way of disguising whether or not the library itself and the text therein were ever actually important.
4 parsecs to go. This thing really clicks.
I guess. Aren't you going at light speed? Isn't that the same for all ships?
It's just their main cruiser now.
And their fuel reserve?
Our experts say it's at maximum storytelling levels, sir.
Tell us that we have a plan. That there's hope.
I swear to fuzzy Zeus on a cracker, if one more person says hope, I'm going to lose my shit. Star Wars movies are hereby forbidden from ever again using the word hope. If you cast soccer player Hope Solo in a movie, you better change her name in the credits. I'm serious.
But we're on our way back to the fleet.
How in the hell are they having this radio conversation while in light speed? ruled so hard? Huh, that's weird. That one shield just blipped. I guess there's no reason to radio down and have somebody check that out.
So a stormtrooper and a who now are doing what?
You mean to tell me that Poe, who proudly gave Finn his name, still refers to him as a stormtrooper? And doesn't she know who the Finn is?
You have bet the survival of the Resistance on bad odds and put us all at risk?
Considering this is her response to finding out about Finn and Rose's side mission, no, he didn't. He created an entirely detached mission for a couple folks that might ultimately aid the Resistance's fight, while not detracting them from their current battle even one bit. Mutiny! Full-blown mutiny! All because Holdo didn't share her plan, and Poe thinks he's Resistance Jesus, and they're all wrong.
Clear the bridge. Escort the officers down to the hangar.
This movie totally rips off Crimson Tide here in the middle of the third act, and I'm pretty sure it's just to stretch the runtime of an already bloated movie.
That one's a troublemaker. I like him.
Me too.
Oh, you do not. This guy has insulted you, called you a traitor, disobeyed orders, started a mutiny, and other than looking like Oscar Isaac,
Holdo knew the First Order was tracking our big ship. They're not monitoring for little transports.
So we could slip down to the surface unnoticed and hide till the First Order passes.
Yep, and why couldn't Holdo tell him that again? If there was fear of a mole being on the ship, that would have made this whole surprise make sense. Instead, Holdo made a known troublemaker panic about the situation and forced his hand to try something else that might have messed up her plan. Also, Holdo's plan relies on the First Order not tracking their transports. Fine. But this also suggests that they would never suspect the rebels to board escape pods once they got within firing range. That they'd just sit there during an attack and die peacefully. The First Order does know about escape pods, right? It was a big plot point in A New Hope, and it helped destroy the Empire. Also, couldn't they also see you with their eyeballs? You're not cloaked. You're a couple dozen escape capsules leaving a main ship. They f***ing see you, right? Why are they marching prisoners to the main launching bay?
I see him turning the lightsaber to strike true.
While this turns into one of the movie's signature scenes, I've got to wonder about the nature of this action. Snoke can obviously sense Kylo's intentions, so how is he able to tell Snoke he intends to kill Rey while making a deliberate action to kill him at the same time without being found out? Awesome! Even remove a Sinworthy. But who the f*** was Snoke? We built this guy up throughout the first movie, and now we're killing him near the end of the second one without an ounce of explanation as to where he came from. By the way, whatever happened to the Knights of Ren? Didn't they exist? Weren't they a thing in The Force Awakens? Where the f*** did they go? This is the way action should basically work. Minimal cutting and a well-choreographed fight, with no shaky cam or extreme close-ups of random things. I hope other directors are watching.
Execution by blaster is too good for them. Let's make this hurt.
It only took us 9 minutes of movie time to figure that out, so why not drag out their deaths even longer so that something might save them? Also, for f***'s sake, can the movie make one logical decision? These two are not major Resistance figures. Phasma hates him because of personal reasons, but these are not the kind of Resistance heroes you'd say this about. Holy f***. Oh, what a shocker. Finn and Rose and all the people important to the story are still alive after Holdo's lightspeed badassery. Captain Phasma and this cadre of stormtroopers still care about killing Finn and Rose after all that. And by the way, wasn't Phasma giving the order to kill them just before the Holdo maneuver? Are you telling me that after that she brushed herself off, went to another part of the ship, rounded up some stormtroopers, then came back to kill them? Finn has been wasted this whole movie, so let's have him square off at the end against Phasma, who has also been wasted this whole movie. Brilliant! Someone needs to get Snoke's legs and age it, because they have amazing dramatic timing. How long have these TIE fighters been shooting at Snoke's ship, currently being flown by Finn and Rose, and can't hit it until the last minute? The First Order, true to form, lands binocular distance away from the Rebel base, rather than simply landing right next to the giant metal wall that they are going to spend the next 15 minutes slowly approaching.
Is the only way in or out.
I guess the rebels didn't care much about fire codes and when it came to building this base. That's a hefty fine. No wonder they didn't last long here. I can't sin this enough. How far away these assholes landed from the base. The rebels have flown for quite some time at this point, and those First Order dicks are still ants on the horizon. Oh yeah, there's also a bunch of ice wolves on this planet. It's like the brainstorming session where no suggestion is mocked somehow became the actual writer's room. F***ing Rose. Why the f*** did she do this? He's about to sacrifice himself to save hundreds of people, and she does this. If she was going to do something that was going to potentially end her own life, why didn't she just crash headfirst into the cannon, instead of preventing Finn from doing it? Now you f***ed everybody, Rose. I hope you're happy.
That's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate. Saving what we love.
Also, letting someone smash into a cannon that would have saved hundreds of lives would have worked too. But sure, what an empowering message of stupidity. F***ing Michael Bay.
He's stalling so we can escape.
It sure would have been nice for Luke to tell them that before he went out to confront Kylo. Maybe even tell them where some exits are. Or hell, maybe even help create an exit, since apparently Jedi are like God now. But I guess having Poe figure it out for himself and figuring Rey would come to save the day was good enough.
And when I kill you, I will have killed the last Jedi!
Roll credits. Surprisingly close to the credits, though. Well, I guess we need to read the big book of Jedi tricks that have never been in one movie up until now, 7th edition, to understand how Luke is projecting himself light years away from this spot. No. So the bracelet or necklace or whatever that Luke gave Leia was also a hologram, even though it looks and acts like a physical thing, and I have a number of questions about it. But Luke died like 3 minutes ago. But I guess this explains why we lose 21 holograms when we die.
Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master.
How the f*** did they hear this story already? Casual Jediing. I don't know what was written when, but the introduction of Emperor Goddamn Palpatine in Episode 9 feels like a desperate attempt to give people who hated The Last Jedi a nostalgia high right off the bat. Who watched the first 2 movies and thought, somehow Emperor Palpatine figures into this? Who is he fighting? They look like kindly Baby Yoda types. They're all like half Jawa, half Ewok. Jawoks? Who are they, and what did they do to piss off Kylo Ren? Well, you might care as I do, but the movie does not. You move on, you're too old, let it go. Nobody listens to techno, now let's go. In the middle of the woods of some random planet, there's a star map to where Emperor Palpatine is. It's called a Sith Wayfinder, and it may be the dumbest thing ever put in a Star Wars film. Why would a Sith create a map to his location? As powerful as Palpatine and Kylo are, can't Palpatine communicate this via the Force? And how did Kylo know this device was on this planet? Wait, there are ports compatible with stuff on your ship you can plug into the Sith Wayfinder? And why do you need 4 photo plugs for this thing anyway?
I have died before. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
That is literally all the explanation this movie cares to give about the return of Palpatine. Also, it's weird that you have this technology to clone yourself, and instead of being a young Palpatine, you're the same old Palpatine that got thrown into the Death Star shaft in Return of the Jedi.
What could you give me?
Everything.
Earlier in this conversation, Emperor Palpatine said the First Order was just the beginning. I can give you so much more. Now he's like, I'll give you everything. And all of this is just vague enough to ask, what exactly do any of these Sith assholes actually want? It's not money, not sex. If power is the main goal, what do they want to use that power for? If the ultimate goal is to shape the universe into an evil spiral of wickedness, then is the power just being used for their entertainment value? Like, I hated King Joffrey on Game of Thrones, but we knew that his power was a means to satisfy his own amusement. I don't know what the hell these guys want.
The might of the final order will soon be ready.
Some of our software has some buggy code, and a lot of the stuff we promised at the Expo of Evil won't be in the final product, but our launch will still go better than that Warcraft 3 remake. More of the Wookiee playing holographic space chess. That's what fresh Star Wars looks like, kids. The same, just with a twist of lime, aka the same thing. Meanwhile, at the Fortress of Hothitude...
Get us back to base! How thick do you think that ice wall is?
What are you talking about? There were a handful of TIE fighters in front of you before you said that. It's bad enough that this kind of force can't shoot down the Millennium Falcon, but it's even worse that the movie totally forgets about what is directly in front of the heroes after one single cut. Oh, it came out of hyperspace right onto Billy Idol's scalp. Also, they pop out of hyperspace in a super dangerous situation, which is something I always wondered about with the original trilogy. But I long ago made peace with the fact that the ship's computers calculate for possible collision and route the hyperspace journey around any danger. Then this movie comes along.
What are you doing? Light speed skipping! How do you know how to do that?
First off, if light speed skipping is a thing, then Poe, one of the preeminent pilots in the galaxy, would know how to do that. But second off, light speed skipping...
Be with me.
Be with me? Is she talking to Luke, or is she anthropomorphizing the Force? Be with me. Sounds like a Michelle Branch song title from 2003. She's played this level several times before, and it's obvious. This is practically a speed run. This jump is far less impressive when you see that it takes 2 different shots of her physically jumping off the log and 3 cuts to make it happen. Reggie Jackson.
I know it looks like I'm making excuses.
Don't tell me what things look like. Tell me what they are.
I love Carrie Fisher. We all do, but JJ's insistence on keeping her an important part of this final Skywalker film, despite her untimely death, ultimately hurts the story and the overall presentation of this final film. These inserted pre-existing footage shots of her are ridiculously awkward. They remind me a lot of when they did that with Tony's mom in The Sopranos.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Writer's room reaction to JJ's big idea gets filmed and included as an actual scene in the movie.
There are ciphers here I can't read.
Bummer.
But he said to get there you need one of these.
Wait, what the
They're compasses that lead the way to Exegol.
So what you're telling me is that this movie is ripping off the primary MacGuffin from the Pirates of the Caribbean? A compass?
I'm gonna pick up Luke's search for Exegol. I'm gonna start where his trail went cold.
Never mind that this scavenger hunt needs to be successful in 16 hours, which is the time frame the movie gave for the Emperor's attack on the Free Worlds.
The General asked me to study the specs of old destroyers, so we can stop the fleet if you find it.
Yeah, knowing the specs of the old destroyers will surely help you to destroy 18 million supposedly new destroyers. Ah, the Knights of Ren are back.
Knights of Ren. Ghouls.
See, they even had to include dialogue to remind viewers who these guys were, because they were absent the entire previous film. Also, so JJ made Force Awakens and Rian Johnson was like, well, that was good, but it's a New Hope all over again. I want to take Star Wars in new directions. And JJ sees The Last Jedi and says, what the f***, Ryan? You threw out everything I did. I'm bringing it all back, damn it. And Kathleen Kennedy sat at a table counting money like Gus Van Sant and Jay and Silent Bob saying, not now, Ben, I'm busy. And Colin Trevorrow was over in the corner raising his hand saying, I am job. A Sith baddie uses the Force to choke a mouthy cabinet member. And we are just playing all the hits here, people. If you dig that, take out your masturbation assistance devices now. Strange that we couldn't hear that crowd until they got around that rock.
She would be honored to know your family name, too.
Oh, give me a break. We get it! Ray longs for familial connection. I feel like JJ wrote this script on autopilot, then ran it by a bunch of first-year film school students for a touch-up. That necklace snatching is so dramatic, I'm surprised it didn't lead to the death of Bruce Wayne's parents.
Sir, we've had this analyzed. It comes from the Midian system. Pasana, Forbidden Valley.
You analyzed a bead necklace, and it gave you the exact location? I'm shocked it didn't at least offer up the possibility of New Orleans.
Leia sent me a transmission.
Leia sent you a transmission, but didn't send the others a transmission to look for you? Why wouldn't setting up a meeting between Lando and the others be the plan from the get-go? Instead, Rey walks around the festival, gets a bead necklace, plays herself when Kylo reaches into the void and grabs it for analysis, and gets attacked by stormtroopers, all because they couldn't set up a meeting in the first place.
Only 2 were made.
A Sith Wayfinder.
I still don't know why they made these things, but if they wanted Sith to be able to find this place, why would they only make 2? This is like God only giving Moses 1 copy of the 10 Commandments.
Luke Skywalker came here to find one.
I know. I was with him. Luke and I were tailing an old Jedi hunter.
No, you weren't. You think moody-ass loner Luke decided to call Lando up to track down a Jedi hunter? I'm not buying it. But look, I get it. You wanted to put Lando in your movie. You wanted the cheering and the applause.
I got a bad feeling about this.
God damn it all to hell. Stop re-hitting all the beats, JJ. This is like having Spock yell Khan instead of Kirk.
How do you know how to do that?
Why does Finn keep asking Poe questions about his ability to know things about the very thing in which he is an expert?
They fly now! They fly now? They fly now!
Excitement? Also, did everyone forget about Boba Fett? He flew without combat. He flew without net. He flew long before these dudes even met. And he set the flight bar that these fools just forget. No one will be seated during the Mad Max Fury Road portion of the film.
Never underestimate a droid!
Jesus. The hell is this? It's quicksand, the oldest trick in the false tension book. Just like that one Harry Potter film, the real answer here ends up being to let go and allow yourself to be swallowed by the vine's quicksand, which is, I guess, exciting?
Luke sensed it. Ochi never left this place.
So tell me again how Luke ran into a dead end when looking for this guy, if he could sense him. Wouldn't the Force tell him where this guy ended up? Let me put it this way, if we watched a Star Wars movie where Luke was looking for this guy, he'd use the Force to find out that his body was in the ground underneath the quicksand. We wouldn't even bat an eye that he found him. But this movie is trying to say he just gave up after searching Ochi's ship with Lando. After falling through the quicksand into a system of caves, they find the magical dagger of truth that ultimately helps Rey find her way later. And I just have to say, quicksand ex machina, am I right? Because, Jesus. How did you find it? I literally fell on it.
I know exactly where the Wayfinder is. Unfortunately, it is written in the runic language of the Sith.
So what?
My programming forbids me from translating it.
God damn it. Oh yeah, that's right. Rey knows parcel tongue.
I just transferred a bit of life. Force energy from me to him.
But can you get that back somehow? Does it regenerate like a special move bar in a video game? So they parked their ship here and then climbed down into a trench, then climbed up onto a mesa because the Knights of Ren are cinematic. If they wanted a good view, they could have stayed on the higher peak where their ship is. Kylo survives this. Well, that was pretty badass.
There was another transport in the desert. It brought back a valuable prisoner.
I'm happy that Chewbacca isn't dead, but how the did Rey and everybody else miss the fact that there was a second transport? It was sitting right there next to the other transport. How didn't they see the other one fly off? And Rey couldn't sense Chewbacca was alive?
The beast used to fly with Han Solo.
Who gives a if he used to fly with Han Solo? You do know he's with the other people you're looking for, right? His relationship to Han Solo means about as much to this movie as the fact that Donald Gleason was an ex machina with Oscar Isaac.
Let's do that. I know a black market droidsmith. For Chewie.
Really wish C-3PO would die. He hasn't been funny or fun since the original trilogy, and even then he was pushing it.
Hello.
Yes, because BB-8 needed a boyfriend. This is like playing Rainbow Six Rogue Spear. And don't any of you modern Rainbow Six or Ghost Recon bitches even start with me about how old that reference makes me sound. I'm old, I don't care, and I could kick your ass at a Rogue Spear Grenades Only run right now. I don't understand why everybody had to go on this mission. Aren't you easier to spot when you're in a crew that includes 3 droids?
We make him translate it, he won't remember anything.
Sounds good to me. Let's go. What are we pausing to consider this for? Let's go! Leroy Jenkins!
Doesn't R2 back up your memory?
Oh, please. R2 storage units are famously unreliable.
And that's all the movie has to say about that.
If this mission fails, it was all for nothing.
Is it just me, or has more than 16 hours gone by at this point?
We sent out a call for help at the Battle of Crate. Nobody came.
Did you ever wonder if there was a problem with your signal or transmission? And not that people didn't care?
Gotta go now. Did we get it? Babu?
Yep, droid is ready.
Perfect timing, dude.
Chewie?
What about him?
He's on my ship.
Oh, now you can sense him. Also, it would have been way better for the movie for the reveal that he's alive to happen here, and not some bull scene with General Hux.
Poe! Might get you on a capital ship.
Thank God she had this, and that she was willing to give it to Poe, even though she'd been carrying it for years, waiting for a way out herself. She's basically female alien helmeted Jesus, and being played by Kerry Russell, well, I'd bow down to her.
Search the city again. She's close.
For a guy that can steal her necklace during visions, he sure is dumb about where and how to find her, even when he's close. People that were just shooting to kill our heroes suddenly decide to take them prisoner. This actually happens a lot in Star Wars movies, but it goes largely unnoticed. Look, I get it when Kylo grabs a necklace and force steals it from one world to another. I do not get it when they smash the Darth Vader pedestal and somehow the image of only his mask transports to another place. They can apparently only see each other and not their surroundings, so how does any of this work?
You are a Palpatine.
You know why this is a surprise? Because nobody can imagine Emperor Palpatine having sex. And now I have a million questions about the backstory of this whole thing that I am sure is explained in a book or a comic or something. And Palpatine finding out about Rey occurred after his death, by the way. I know he was cloned, but who told him he had a granddaughter while he spent his days on that distant planet? If you say the Force, then why wasn't he able to locate her and kill her while she ran around scavenging on Jakku? If you say one of his minions kept tabs on Palpatine's son, I'll call you a liar, because there's no way Palpatine anybody and had a kid. All I've got to say is this is entirely too much work to hide a Sith Wayfinder thing that shouldn't even exist in the first place. Somebody came out here, wrote down some coordinates, drew a picture, and then said, I shall construct a blade from the outline of this drawing, and then engrave those coordinates in the Sith language that nobody except Siths and C-3PO can read. Why you played, I don't know. I just do what the cocaine tells me.
We can go first light tomorrow. We can't wait that long. We don't have the time.
Is it just me, or has more than 16 hours gone by at this point?
You were First Order?
Not by choice.
We were conscripted as kids. All of us.
Once again, this movie would have been just fine without.
She took a skimmer?
Yeah, I know, like, if she can make herself levitate, why can't she just fly there? Interstellar wave is interstellar.
Well, I'm not Leia. That's for damn sure.
Are we really doing this protagonist fight before the big finish cliche here?
There's another skimmer.
Sounds about right. Seriously, with all the stuff that Rey has to do to navigate this Death Star wreckage to get the Wayfinder, the people who hid it could have told people where it was and they still couldn't have found it. Man, Rey working her way through this wreckage to find the Wayfinder is the best Tomb Raider movie ever made. Whoa, it's like you got some Empire Strikes Back in my Rise of Skywalker. It's like metaphorical and stuff.
The only way you're getting to Exegol is with me.
I have been through too much with this Wayfinder to just have Kylo smash it. Entirely, deeply too much. This whole movie has been about Rey trying to find this thing. Now Kylo smashes it, as if all the that happens in the movie after this can't happen without it. I think, yeah, I'm gonna add 100 cents for this. Sure, yada yada the out of how the fight went from the main Emperor's chamber in the wreckage to out here on a floating piece of jetsam. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually bored with this lightsaber battle. What do we think is going to actually happen here? Every lightsaber battle in the original trilogy seemed consequential. Obi-Wan dying, Luke losing his hand, and the negotiation between good and evil itself. This one? Yeah, Rey's going to stab Kylo when Leia distracts him, but Rey's going to heal him immediately afterward. This is a laser show. Play some Pink Floyd and maybe I'll pay attention. Why does she decide to heal him again? Because his death makes Leia sad? Because he had his shirt off that one time? If she didn't want to hurt him or kill him, what was all that Jan Burger lightsaber battling for? It wasn't self-defense. Man, that Rage Ocean sure took a time out while these two had this long private moment, didn't it? Hand service.
The Princess of Alderaan has disrupted my plan.
And just when I thought this movie was going to avoid resorting to one hologram, here it is in all its glory. What's remarkable is that in this world, 30 plus years have gone by and there's still glitchy eyesores. Man, all the bad guys ever want to do in these movies is blow up planets. And I guess it's cool, but I've seen enough exploding planets in these movies to not be moved by them anymore.
Does that mean every ship in the fleet
Has planet-killing weapons? Of course they do.
This reminds me of that story by Hans Christian Andersen, where two screenwriters promise the Emperor that they'll give him an imagination, but then they decide not to give him one at all. They just tell him it's there. And then everybody claims that the Emperor has an imagination because they don't want to look stupid, until a kid observes him and says, but he doesn't have an imagination at all.
We had each other. That's how we won.
Family.
This droid has a ton of information about Exegol.
Like St. Peter on a pizza, this convenient got to stop. And so help me fancy Moses, if you start with me on that, it's the Force. This is just lazy writing. And the Star Wars farewell tour continues. Coming up next, Porkins, Mace Windu, the ghost of Anakin Skywalker from the original trilogy before they replaced him with Hayden Christensen, and a fantastic cover band called There Can Be Obi-Wan. The name sounds apt, but it's not. Also, apparently Jedi ghosts can handle physical objects now. This really raises questions as to why Yoda and Obi-Wan couldn't help out with the cause after they died.
Because you're a Palpatine. Leia knew it too.
I am exhausted at what the Force can and can't tell Jedis or Siths. Rey had no idea she was a Palpatine, but Luke and Leia knew somehow. I know the Force can tap into other people's thoughts and feelings, but family lineage?
Some things are stronger than blood.
Duh! You are the son of the evil Darth Vader, you numbnuts! How the is this a lesson anyone in the universe needs to learn? Everyone knows about how you were good, even though your dad was, you know what, 50 cents, because some things are stronger than stupid dialogue, like the sin counter. Yeah, you can darken the screen and light the scene only with a blue lightsaber, and this digitally youngin' Leia still looks pretty creepy. Is it just me, or is more than 16 hours gone by at this point? Also, the fans may love it that Luke finally got a chance to lift his ship out of some water after completely failing to do so in The Empire Strikes Back. But I better see an army of goddamn Jedi ghosts coming to fight the Emperor after this. That asshole Qui-Gon and the dude with the 3-foot neck better be there, lightsabers drawn.
You want to put what in my head? Under no circumstances.
Well, that was a quick edit, but it's still the character insists they won't do the thing only to do the thing cliche.
Are you seeing these Atmo readings?
Did he just say Atmo instead of atmosphere? Because that's Opno.
They can't activate their shields until they leave atmosphere.
But why?
We think hitting the cannons might ignite the main reactors.
If there's anything I learned from watching the 9 main Star Wars films, it's that the Empire First Order didn't learn a goddamn thing over a 60-year time span. Sure, it's great that our heroes can find minute weaknesses that help them level the playing field, but it's disappointing story-wise that the villains always underestimated their opponents. Over the course of 1 trilogy, I get it. Over the course of 3 trilogies, especially this one, it's tiresome.
We need to pull some holdo maneuvers. Do some real damage.
Is Mary Brandybuck here seriously suggesting a strategy of mass suicide?
Not today. Today we make our last stand.
Oh my god. 1 million of these Star Destroyers shoot 500 million ion cannons at this small resistance force, and somehow it's not a huge disaster for the resistance.
The nav signal is coming from that command ship. That's our drop zone.
How do you know?
A feeling.
They're riding horse thingies on top of a spaceship. Hey boss, how big do you want to make that facehugger throne? Bigger!
Your hatred, your anger. You want to kill me. That is what I want.
I feel like in Star Wars Episode 18 we'll be seeing this exact scene yet again, because Star Wars never changes. It'll be right after Disney hands the reins to Star Wars to Cal L. Cage, who will make Episode 17 using motion capture on his 85-year-old dad to play every single character of the movie, including the werewolves. This is a cool action shot, but I'm still having a hard time figuring out why Finn can just kneel out in the open like this and not get shot.
Weak. Like your parents.
My parents were strong.
Jedi skip! Again with a look at the ships as your friends are dying routine? This guy has one shtick. One.
She will take her revenge.
This whole setup seems phony. In the original trilogy, we could actually see Luke getting angrier. And slipping into the dark side seemed to be a possibility, even though we knew it wouldn't happen. Rey has never really seemed like the angry type. The Emperor really seems to think sitting on this throne out in the unknown regions is super appealing enough to sell your soul. Okay, this is probably the coolest scene in the movie, but even with the dyad nature, how is this possible? The way this has worked throughout the last couple of movies is they can talk to each other, read each other's thoughts, even grab things in front of them, and even see images of things that might be around them. But when did they perfect this wireless transfer of lightsabers? Even if this is possible, wouldn't you need to work on this? Wouldn't it require just a tad of training to do this in such a cinematically pleasing manner? Kylo is actually doing a better job killing the Knights of Ren than Rian Johnson did.
There's just too many of them.
more of us, Poe. There are more of us.
Did this huge fleet really get here just now? Just in time to hear Poe giving up, but not in time to help out before this? Snap was depending on you, Lando! Snap was depending on you! Also, how the f*** did all these assholes navigate that narrow and twisty hellscape that you have to go through to get here? I really do think some of these dicks have been sitting here for a long time waiting for Lando to make his grand entrance. Lando. The Emperor, with considerable power at his fingertips, says, I'll let gravity decide this. I'm taking a sin off because this is rad, but movie should consider itself lucky that I'm still awake right now to even see it.
Rey, bring back the balance, Rey, as I did.
This is a nice pep talk from all the Jedi ghosts, and it gets Rey back up on her feet, but what I really want at this point is for all these voices to get off their lazy asses and fight, because that's the problem with showing Ghost Luke grabbing a lightsaber earlier. He opened up the possibility of dead Jedi coming to the fight, and I want it to happen on a larger scale now. This whole movie is fan service. Why can't there be ghosts of all our favorite Jedis kicking ass at the end of this movie? Once again, Star Wars finds a loophole in the kill the Emperor but become evil rule. They set up this impossible thing where if you kill the Emperor, no matter your level of anger, you become a dick like he does. So in Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader throws him down a shaft so Luke doesn't have to do it. And this one, I guess it's because the Emperor's own lightning is melting him. The little arrangement of killing the Emperor and becoming the Emperor doesn't work anymore.
I see him!
You do not. I guess we'll just forget about Finn and Jen on top of the Falcon as it flies vertically away from this wreckage. Hope they have a strong foothold. This Kylo isn't dead scene might be more impactful if we actually knew how far he fell down this chasm of nothingness and how he even survived that. Kylo's never used this power before, so of course on the first try he resurrects Rey from the dead. Oh, ew. What? Also, let me get this straight. He heals her, and then that zaps him of all his life? And she can't heal him back because she's too weak? Did she act too slowly? When Rey was dead, why didn't she just disappear? Did the Force know that Kylo was going to Ben Solo up the Sith chasm to save her? I guess no matter what happens anywhere, you can always see the aftermath from Endor's forest moon somewhere. Also, Ewoks.
This is for you.
Yeah, Chewie, now you deserve this medal. After 30 plus years, someone's finally giving you one. Not because of anything you did in this movie, but because of fan service. Seriously, I hope it's actually chocolate. Now have a threesome.
Rey Skywalker.
This movie is pretty average. The ending is great.
Kill me. Kill me. Kill me.
Stay alive, no matter what occurs. I will find you.
Sir, the villagers.
Wipe them out. All of them.
Turn here.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
I have got to get me one of these! Hey, what's your name? FN2187. F... what? That's the only name they ever gave me. That, we're calling you McLovin.
Take care of yourself.
I guess that's what you're best at, isn't it?
I shouldn't have gone in there. Don't go in there. Promise me you don't go in there. Me go in there? That's the last place I want to go. Like, I'm gonna go in there. Try getting a boner now.
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei! Hate does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei! I like it!
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
I love you.
I know.
You have to go back.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!
Meta Man, Express Elevator, Diner Guy, Snag on Takeoff, Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. Knock it!
Take that ridiculous thing off.
Leia is unconscious, but recovering.
Just like Gerald Ford.
That spark, this resistance must survive.
We're going to live on! We're going to survive! Today, we celebrate our Independence Day!
That little human
so stupid. Why'd you do that, huh? You're so stupid, Rose. Why did you do that? Why?
Just a child in a mosque.
You're an errand boy sent by grocery clerks.
Yep, those are the shuttle parkers. Don't tase me, bro.
Hey, I think somebody just shot a torpedo at us.
Must go faster.
Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed.
This. We can dance for a little bit, and if you don't like the way I dance, you can kick me.
How'd you find us?
Colt 45. It works every time.
Don't you stick that knife in your leg.
Is that the best you can do? You're gonna have to kill me!
Just stay alive! I will find you.
There's just too many of them.
But there are more of us, Poe. There are more of us.
On your left.